In the grim darkness of the far future, legends still hold sway. Tales of heroes, monsters, and gods shape the very fabric of the universe and the structure of the drowning empires within. And among them, a few tales stand out as true tragedies of epic proportions. No, I won't be talking about the Warmaster Horus and his fall to chaos yet. We'll get to that in a minute. For now, I'm talking about the Sagittarius, creatures of power and wisdom, the wisest and most just of the ancient centaurs, half man, half monster. It is this sign, the Sagittarius, that is repeatedly referenced within the Warhammer universe, and in this weird hybrid video that I fully expect most of you to be wholly uninterested by, I will do a bit of an analysis on the influence and significance of the Sagittarius, not the star sign, I promise, and make some interesting comparisons and observations between it and Horus before briefly analysing the overall symbolism of the Sagittarius in the Warhammer 40k universe. The Sagittarius was a fierce and powerful creature. With the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse, it was a formidable sight to behold. But it was the creature's skill with a bow that truly set it apart. Legends tell of the Sagittarius firing arrows with deadly accuracy, piercing the hearts of enemies from great distances. It was said that no mortal could match the Sagittarius in archery, and that its arrows carried magical powers that could slay even the mightiest of beasts. More broadly, the ancient centaurs with whom the Sagittarius shares its distinctive half-human, half-horse appearance, embodied a fusion of animalistic ferocity and human intellect, though their violent tendencies were always at the forefront. Their savage nature made them the antithesis of understood civilization. They passed aside societal norms in favour of raw, unbridled power. The Sagittarius became a symbol of power and strength in ancient Greek culture, embodying the idea of the warrior archer. It was believed that those born under the Sagittarius sign were blessed with the same traits as the mythical creature: bravery, precision, and a relentless ambition. The connection between Horus and the Sagittarius is undeniable, and their similarities speak volumes about the nature of humanity in this universe filled with darkness. From their shared noble appearance to their respective roles as leaders and teachers, Horus and the Sagittarius embody a similar duality that reflects humanity's never-ending thirst for knowledge and dominion. The Emperor himself saw these similarities, as Horus recounts. The first thing my father gave to me was an astrological text. It was a simple thing, a child's primer. I actually have it here somewhere. He had noticed my wonder in the stars and wished me to learn and understand. There were zodiac charts in it, in the text. I learned them all in one evening. Not just the names, but the patterns, the associations, the structure. All 20 signs. The next day, my father laughed at my appetite for knowledge. He told me the zodiac signs were old and unreliable models now that the exploratory fleets had begun detailed cosmological mapping. He told me that the 20 signs in the heavens would one day be matched by 20 suns just like me. Each sun would embody the character and notion of a particular zodiac group. He asked me which one I liked the best. I told him I liked all the patterns they made. I told him that I was glad to finally have names for the sparks of light in the sky. I told him I liked Leos, naturally, for his regal fury, and Scorpos for his armor and warlike blade. I told him that Toromok appealed to my sense of stubbornness, and Arbitos to my sense of fairness and balance. My father said he admired my choices, but was surprised that I had not picked one in particular. He showed me again the horseman with the bow, the galloping warrior, the dreadful Sagittari, he said, most warlike of all, strong, relentless, unbridled, swift and sure of his mark. In ancient times, he said, this had been the greatest sign of all, the centaur, the horseman, the hunter warrior, who had been beloved in the old age. In Anatolia, in his own childhood, the centaur had been a revered symbol, a rider upon a horse, he said, armed with a bow, the most potent martial instrument of the age, conquering all before it. Over time, myth had blended horseman and steed together in one form, the perfect synthesis of man and war machine. That is what you must learn to be, he told me. That is what you must master. One day you must command my armies, my instruments of war, as if they were extensions of your own person, man and horse as one, galloping the heavens, submitting to no foe. At Alinor, he gave me this ring. The ring was made in ancient Persia, the year before my father was born. The dreadful Sagittarius. This is you now, he said to me, my Warmaster, my centaur, half man, half army, embedded in the legions of the Imperium. Where you turn, so the legions turn. Where you move, so they move. Where you strike, so they strike. Ride on without me, my son, and the armies will ride with you. The sign of the Sagittarius is associated with traits such as wisdom, intelligence, and a love for learning, all qualities that the centaur Chiron embodied. As a teacher and mentor to many famous heroes of Greek mythology, including Achilles and Jason, Chiron embodied the archetype of the wise old sage, imparting his knowledge and experience to those who seek it. Thus, it is fitting that he is associated with the Sagittarius, a symbol of intellect and wisdom that mirrors Chiron's own character. Now, on to some observed similarities between the two being Horus and Chiron. And from here on out, I will be referring to Chiron as Big C, simply because I hate pronouncing his really weird name. So both Horus and Big C were revered leaders and teachers in their respective tales. Big C was known as a wise and just centaur who taught various heroes and demigods the art of hunting, medicine, and prophecy. Horus Lupercal was the Warmaster and Primarch of the Sons of Horus, formerly the Lunar Wolves, and later renamed to the Black Legion. He led the armies of the Imperium during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy. He was regarded as a charismatic and visionary figure who inspired loyalty and admiration from his fellow Primarchs and his troops. Both are skilled warriors. In Greek mythology, Big C was known for his exceptional fighting abilities and was said to have trained many famously martially adept heroes, the most notable being Achilles, of course. I think it goes without saying that Horus was indeed a skilled warrior as well, but I'll say it anyway. He was the most martially adept of the Emperor's sons, who led the forces of the Imperium during the Great Crusade, setting the high standard for what it meant to be a Primarch and to lead a legion with distinction. Both have suffered great corruptive traumas that shaped their destinies and their personalities. Big C was mortally wounded in an act of betrayal by one of his former students' poisoned arrows. While he was the master of the ancient healing arts, Big C could not heal himself and willingly gave up on his immortality to avoid a life of eternal pain and suffering. Horus fell victim to the insidious machinations of the Chaos Gods, who lured him into their corruptive embrace through deception and treachery. In his ignorance, Horus embraced the power of chaos, becoming a godlike entity. Both have faced a moral choice. Horus had to decide whether to embrace chaos and rebel against the Emperor, or to remain loyal and fulfill his destiny as the Emperor's heir. Big C had to decide whether to accept his immortality and endure his suffering, or to seek a way to end his existence and find peace. Both have been depicted as complex and ambiguous characters, with both heroic and villainous traits. Big C was a noble and compassionate teacher, but also a warrior and a survivor who had to endure many hardships and tragedies. He was sometimes portrayed as a mediator between the centaurs and the humans, but also as a rebel against the gods. Horus was a charismatic and visionary leader, but also a ruthless and ambitious warlord who was willing to sacrifice millions of lives for his goals. Yet beyond these similarities, as novel as they may be, the influence of the Sagittarius stretches far beyond Horus Lupercal and Chiron, reaching whole empires such as the Interrex. This advanced human civilization, discovered by the Lunar Wolves in the early stages of the Great Crusade, spanned across over 30 systems and had developed advanced technology that in some ways surpassed that of the Imperium. They created a variety of automata and warsuits, mostly modelled to reflect the half-man, half-horse aesthetic of the Centaur and Sagittarius. The fact that Horus Lupercal, the Primarch who stumbled upon the Interrex civilization, bears remarkable similarities to the Sagittarius is indeed a curious coincidence. It seems as though fate had brought these two together, weaving them into a tapestry of power, corruption, and tragedy that would span the cosmos. Though the influence of the Sagittarius extends even further, even into the ranks of the Legio Custodes, the elite bodyguards of the Emperor of mankind. Some sects within the Custodes, such as the Sagittarian Guard, were, quite clearly, named after Sagittarius. Moreover, it is interesting to note that some of the Emperor's custodians have been named after Sagittarius, such as Sagittarius Malak, one of the first 30 custodians chosen to serve the Emperor, and also the first to meet his end in battle. In recognition of his service and sacrifice, Sagittarius Malak would be interred within a Contemptor pattern dreadnought, where he could continue to serve his lord even in death. It is perhaps no coincidence that the Emperor, who was known for his foresight and strategic thinking, was deeply influenced by the Sagittarius, the symbol of power and wisdom. The Sagittarius clearly remains a potent symbol in the Warhammer universe, echoing through the ages as a reminder of the duality that defines humanity's quest for power and dominion. From the ancient tales of Chiron to the tragic story of Horus Lupercal, the Sagittarius has woven itself into the very fabric of the Warhammer mythology, representing a powerful archetype that continues to inspire awe and fear. Whether as a symbol of heroic leadership or as a warning against the dangers of corruption, the Sagittarius remains a force to be reckoned with, shaping the destiny of empires and individuals alike. So, what does this mean? Okay, Horus is in some way similar to the Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius is commonly referenced in the Imperium and the wider galaxy. So what? Well, I will tell you so what, dear viewer. This understanding is noteworthy because the similarities between Horus Lupercal and the Sagittarius, as well as the continued references to the Sagittarius in the Warhammer universe, hold great significance. It is not merely a coincidence that the Imperium and others have made use of the Sagittarius as a symbol. It holds deep symbolic and thematic significance, shedding light on the nature of power, corruption, and the struggle for dominance in a universe filled with chaos and danger. The Sagittarius speaks to a fundamental theme of the franchise: the struggle between order and chaos, civilization and savagery. The Sagittarius, with its duality of man and beast, represents this dichotomy and the tension between two opposing forces. The sign of the Sagittarius is a testament to the deep cultural and historical roots that underpin the Warhammer universe, and the enduring appeal of myth and legend in shaping our collective imagination.